What's up? It's Andy. I'm here for the second straight Friday to give you some of my favorite selections for Saturday's No House Advantage Pick'em contest. This is going to be the second straight Saturday we get to take advantage of an additional event added to the schedule. And this is actually the perfect time to get involved with No House Advantage because they are upping their match deposit offer once again on No House Advantage. If you go to that site using the link in the description of this video, they're going to match your first deposit up to $100. First it was $25, then it was $50, now $100. You put in $100, you get $100. You can submit to these contests on Saturday. Then I'm coming back tomorrow to give you some of the selections for Sunday. It's a great time. Better late than never because there's only a few weeks left. So make sure you go over to No House Advantage. And on top of that, if you go to Stokastic.com, they offer free projections. And I say they because I can't come up with these things. They use advanced stock exchange machines. I don't know, the stuff that I always say, it's what you find in the basement of Area 51. You need that level 5 clearance. I don't have it, but I'll tell you what, they do, and they make great projections for this particular contest. So make sure you go over there and check those out. So on to my particular selections. Maybe they're guided a little bit, but maybe they're not. You can go check for yourself by going over to Stokastic.com. In this particular weekend, we got like a frozen tundra covering the majority of this country. So many of these games have lousy weather, and there are so few dome games available to choose players from in this particular contest. So I'm going to start by looking at these quarterbacks in these absurd games where they're probably not going to be winging it all over the field. I'm going to start with Patrick Mahomes, a guy who is a pretty good quarterback, wouldn't you say? I'm going to take the under 1 interception for Patrick Mahomes. Mostly because if there's a game you're going to see them maybe not throw it as much, it would be in this one. Now, look, we've seen him toss it around in the cold a bunch. It's not going to be an issue. But I swear to you, versus Seattle, I wouldn't be really too worried about it. If it was a fall, October 7th, I wouldn't take the over an interception. So I'm going to take the under 1 interception for Patrick Mahomes. Then another quarterback I'm going to be looking at is Daniel Jones. He is indoor. He is in that environment, but I don't trust him throwing 2 touchdowns with the weapons he has. I understand the Vikings secondary is not great, and that's exactly why I'm taking the over on receptions for Darius Slayton, who was a little bit quiet last week, but he is their de facto number 1 receiver, and the Vikings secondary, let's be frank, it's not really stopping anybody. So I'm taking the over on Darius Slayton receptions. And then I'm going to take the over on Foreman rushing yards. They're playing the Lions this week in what is one of the only decent weather games on the early slate for the Saturday games. It's supposed to be relatively decent down there in Carolina. And against Detroit's defense, we've seen running backs in the past go off against them. Not so much last week, but typically you can have yourself a day against that Detroit Lions run defense. So I'm going to take the over on Foreman's rushing yards. It's only in the 50s. And then lastly, I'm going to take the under 2.5 touchdown passes for Josh Allen. And I know maybe you're thinking, like, what do you? He just threw like 4 touchdowns in the snow last week. Yeah, I know you always run that risk, but in this second half of the season, they've been running more. And yeah, they were playing a little bit from behind, especially in the fourth quarter. It was a little bit more of a shootout last week with their division rival. That was a real big game. This one, 1 o'clock, cold against the Bears. I could foresee them running it a decent amount with Cook and Singletary and not needing to throw 3 touchdowns. I'm going to take the under on Josh Allen passing touchdowns. And that's what I got for you here on this Saturday. Remember, I'll be back with you tomorrow to break down some of my favorite Sunday selections. Like I said, go over to Stokastic, get the free optimal lineups and projections for this particular contest and other types of contests. I'll be back with you tomorrow for more Pick'em and versus the house for the Saturday slate. Take it easy, have a good one, and I will see you then.